January 2021 Astrocast for the month. This is the first month that we're stepping into for the year 2021. What a year it has been, 2020. Goodbye. I'm sure everybody is super happy to say goodbye to such a chaotic year, in a year in which we have broken so many standards and structures, and everything really basically has shifted for us. Well, guess what? Things are going to keep shifting. I'm not going to come and tell you, because I don't sugarcoat it for you. I tell it exactly how it is so that you can see what you can do with all this. 2021 is going to be a lot more change. It may not feel, and I think because we've already been through 2020, it won't feel like, as heavy, but it'll still be, we're stepping in here into 2021 with the shift of the Great Conjunction. You've seen that video. If you've seen my last video, it was the Great Conjunction, and it was December 21st when Saturn and Jupiter both stepped into the sign of Aquarius, kicking off what many of us are saying is the age of Aquarius. Whether it is or not, it doesn't matter. It shifts everything from earth signs, for society and culture from the past 200 years into air signs for the next 200 years. Therefore, there's a big shift that is going to be happening this year as well. Okay, so my big word for you in 2021, and what I want you to really study and kind of embody, is resilience. And if you know my work as a coach, beyond astrology and many other things, many certifications. One of them is as a heart math resilience coach and mentor. And now it's really come to the forefront why it was so important to do this. This is the Heart Math Institute, that they study the energy from the heart and the electromagnetic field, and how it's like so much broader and bigger than that of the brain, and therefore how we attract and magnetize and align with things from the heart energy and not really from here, right? So it's a shift in paradigm in the way you think about things, because most people are like, think it and therefore No, it's you got to think it to generate the feeling, and the feeling's going to generate the attraction or the magnetizing or the manifesting, whatever it is that is your different unique style of coming into alignment with things into this world. Okay, so resilience is going to be a big deal this year, and it's very apparent because the changes are not going to stop. Aquarius is the sign of before and after big, sudden, lightning fast changes. It's very interesting. Here in California and LA, we had a huge storm, like, I don't know if it was like 3 days ago or so, and it was just, you thought the sky was falling. You're like, I don't know, like Odin or Thor, somebody, what is happening here? Because it's just, the sky's gonna open and something's gonna loud and pouring rain, and then suddenly, maybe like a half hour later, it was gone. And then it rained and stuff, but it wasn't that intense, frightening, like everything is moving in the porch or whatever kind of energy. So that's a little bit what what's in store for us in 2021 with this energy of Saturn in Aquarius and Jupiter in Aquarius, kicking off sort of the color for the rest of the year. Okay, we are going to be surprised with certain things. I don't practice predictive astrology, but I just want to tell you the energy that's really that is going to be something that you're going to have to deal with. Okay, and that's why I'm telling you the word is resilience. Okay, you're going to need to deal with change that is fast, that it comes suddenly, that is a bit of a surprise. And I think it's going to be very important because Aquarius is an air sign, and it's the sign that rules technology and it rules the mind, that you're going to need to apply all that you know when it comes to tools and practices and guidance and everything for embodiment. Okay, if you don't already have a practice for embodiment, it's going to be something that you're going to need to acquire. What do I mean by that? Get out of your head, get out of technology and the scrolling and all this stuff, and get into the body. Okay, connect with your body. It could be Tai Chi, could be Qigong, could be yoga. You can even do meditation, although I think it's a little bit more about moving, okay, and really getting in touch with you, your muscles, your joints, tendons, everything that will allow you to really step into your body's energy, okay? And if you're feeling emotions, to be able to process them in the body as well, that's going to be very, very important. So think about that. In whatever plan that you're going to be making for this year, if you haven't already made it, I know Mars is stepping into Taurus on the 6th, so plans are going to be slow to come into fruition this first part of the year, this first month. But I think it also feels for a lot of us like January 1st wasn't really January 1st. January 1st today is like, okay, well, that's done. And what now? It's not like, hey, I've been preparing for this and today I start the diet and today I start the fitness program, whatever. Maybe some of you who are Arieses and, Scorpios and you're hardcore and you're like powering through things and like nothing faces you. Fine. That's awesome. More power to you. Congrats. Many of us are going to be feeling like, well, today's just any other day. And like, what's next? I'm slow to coming to the plan. That's okay. That is the sort of the energy that we've been in. We're in a bit of a transition period because even though we've stepped into the energy of Aquarius, we haven't fully stepped into Aquarius season. That's marked by the sun. So the season for a sign is marked by when the sun steps into that sign. So right now we're still smack in the middle of Capricorn season, right? So Capricorn season will run through like the 19th, 20th, or 18th, 19th, depending where you live. And at that moment, the sun will step into Aquarius and we will feel an even more, a bigger connection to this whole age of Aquarius shifting thing, okay? And it's a good thing. I want you to think resilience not from like a, doomsday perspective. It's a resilience coming from like, hey, how do I just get stronger, faster, better? Okay, it's like a next level. It's an up level. It's like a, how do I take this amazing equipment that I have as a human being, okay, and this core that I have as a spirit, and bring all that together to just be like the superhero of my life. That's what we're doing, because we're gonna need ya. We're gonna need you as a superhero of your life and of everybody else's life, because Aquarian energy, age of Aquarius, if you do indeed believe that we have stepped into the age of Aquarius with this grand conjunction and the shift, if not, it doesn't matter, the shift is still there and we're still in that energy because of these planets. It's gonna be all about brotherhood, fraternity, equality, and liberty. And in order for all of those values to come together and to actually happen for everybody, we're gonna have to work together. And we're gonna have to step up our game, okay? So we have to lead ourselves and we have to lead others. And for that to be able to happen, we really need to be resilient. We really need to understand, understand, accept, and own what our next level is, okay? Part of knowing your chart, and why this is sort of a huge passion for me, is because this really is a tool that helps you understand your gifts, your talents, your purpose, your mission, also your challenges that you come with, some things where you may be wasting energy, the energy that you can manage or can't manage, all of these things, okay? So that's going to be very, very important in these coming years. Whatever tools you have, whether it's astrology or yoga or qigong or, coaching or whatever, to really apply them this year, because you're going to need them. And if you don't have them, acquire them, okay? And if you need to get your chart done, you know that you can send me an email at maril@marilsolispas.com and we can get that done. Okay, let's go into the transits for this year. Remember, resilience, 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 okay? Awesome. 6th of April, 6th of January, we're stepping into the energy of Taurus, further into the energy of Taurus with Mars, okay? So on the 6th of January, Mars enters Taurus and it's going to join a planet that has been sort of protagonist with this whole pandemic thing and this big change last year, which is the planet of Uranus, however you want to pronounce it, that is already in 6 degrees Taurus. It's the only planet right now that is still in its retrograde period. So it's not moving forward, it's moving backward, which obviously this is an optical illusion, but we feel it, we get affected by it, and it's almost like that planet in its energy is a little bit limited. Uranus in Taurus is already not happy in there because this planet naturally rules the sign of Aquarius, and Aquarius and Taurus don't get along, okay? They're square to each other, they're very different energies. So this planet is like, in this energy of Taurus, already feels limited, and it's been retrograde, so it's been limited even further. And now Mars enters into it's sort of like to help it out, to like trigger more things in it. And this month, the planet of Uranus in Taurus, while Mars is still in Taurus, is going to go direct, okay? So many things happening with that, because we're going to have some, my Tauruses, my Aquariuses, Scorpios, and Leos are going to feel this month some points of discomfort, okay? And kind of like, I don't really know what to do with all this intense energy that I have coming in, because there are going to be some what we call T-squares, some configurations astrologically that bring about tension and discomfort. We'll talk about those probably in my Instagram account, where I talk a little bit more about the transits and the aspects, okay? But anyway, Mars is going to step into the energy of Taurus, the sign of Taurus, on the 6th of January, coupling up a little bit, days into it with Uranus. And so there's going to be a little bit more Taurus energy, a little bit more earth energy, coupling up with this whole Capricorn season that we're still in. So even though we're in the era of the age of Aquarius, we're not going to feel like things are shifting big time and moving forward until further into the month. Okay, Mars entering Taurus, wherever this falls in your chart, you got to check in your chart. I always tell you guys, come to see these videos with your chart in hand. Where do you have this sign? Where does it fall? When I say Mars steps into Taurus that day, that means 0 degrees Taurus, and then it's going to be moving forward in degrees. And wherever you have 0 degrees Taurus, that is where you're going to feel this planet's energy, okay? And Mars in Taurus is Mars being the planet of action, okay? And having just been in the planet that it rules, which is Aries, which is full action Jackson, full energy potential to do. It's going to step into like a full stop, because Taurus is an earth sign, and it's also a fixed sign, earth element, fixed modality or quality. And we call it the immovable mountain, because it's, of all the earth planets, because it's also fixed in quality, it's like super peaceful, calm, do things slowly, maybe even stand still and not move and wait for things to actually happen and come to it, okay? So we will go from the energy of Mars and Aries, like, hey, I've been doing a lot of stuff and getting things done, or at least felt a little more motivated, to like, hey, slow it down, take a beat, maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe not do anything for the moment. Don't feel bad if this is the way you're going to feel sort of like the first or second week of January, and you see maybe other people that are already stepping into their goals, like your fitness, and you did the diet, and you're like in the new workout and whatever. The energy is not really available in general for a ton of action, okay? That's okay. That's going to shift. These things are just momentary, and that's going to change. But I want you to avoid feeling guilty or ashamed because you're not like, oh, I'm going to step into 2021 with like step in there and just run. You don't need to. The energy is not really asking you to do that. It's not that available. And it makes a lot of sense after the year we've been through, 2020. So a little bit of compassion for yourself, a little bit of patience, which is what Taurus brings. Okay, and it is what Uranus in Taurus last year asked us to do with this whole pandemic and quarantine. Said, hey, take a beat, and maybe 2 or maybe 3 or maybe 12 months of a beat, okay, and reevaluate. Taurus is the sign that rules the second house, which rules self-worth. It rules our values. It rules everything that will allow us to understand what is our value, and also what we value ourselves, okay, what's important to us. So take a beat and maybe really reevaluate what's really important. Maybe last year, January 1st, you were like, yeah, fitness and, 2020 body, bikini body or whatever, and all this stuff. And it was just kind of like you understood that these changes are something that you always engage in, but it was more of a surface thing. And this year, 2020, has shifted what is important for many of us. And it's gone deep. And it's like, who cares about your bikini body? Like, let's talk about what's really important for you. Okay? Is it love? Is it family? Is it wellness and health, rather than like just the surface effect, right, of a healthy, eating habits, or a healthy regard for yourself, or healthy self-worth, okay? Which brings about, hey, I'm going to take care of my body. Hey, okay, but from a different angle and for a different purpose, therefore a different effect. Okay, so it's okay. It's good to slow down. That's the purpose of meditation anyways, to help you understand that really we just have one thought at a time. We think we have multiple thoughts at the same time, and we don't. When you have been meditating for a very, very long time, you come to really not just understand this, but actually see it and live it. And you're like, oh, maybe I should actually be careful about what that thought is that I'm choosing to give attention to in, those moments of my life. Okay, so take this energy of the first 2 weeks of the month, and it's okay to be in slow-mo and to meditate and to think about, what it is that you're going to be moving forward with. And maybe you kick off your goals, I don't know, for Chinese New Year, right? Which is a little bit further into January or February, depending on where the moons are. Okay, so that's what we're dealing with at the very beginning of January. January 8th, there's two things happening, two transits. Mercury steps into Aquarius. So Mercury's been in Capricorn, so it's been, the mind with the sun, the essence, working together. Now Mercury steps out and it's going to go into Aquarius, and Venus is going to step into Capricorn. Okay, so Venus is going to support sort of this Capricorn energy. Anywhere Venus is steps into in your chart, it brings like really nice energy. It brings positivity. It brings opportunity, like a nice feeling. Venus is a planet that rules love. Most people don't focus on the fact that it also rules finances. Venus in Capricorn will feel like you're a little bit maybe more conscious of where you're spending your money, because Capricorn is very, very financially frugal and responsible. Capricorn is key word, I think, would be responsibility. So Venus will step into Capricorn, and you'll feel like, you're a little bit more like, okay, where do I really want to spend my money right now or this year? What are the investments I need to make in order to build and grow whatever it is that I need to build and grow, whether it's your business or your nest egg or whatever. And when it comes to the energy of love, you're going to be maybe a little more cautious and responsible too, because that's sort of Venus in Capricorn is a little bit more like, is this really the right person for me? Okay. Mercury in Aquarius, the mind is what Mercury rules, and also communication, and it's going to shift from having been in Capricorn into Aquarius. Aquarius is a sign, again, that is also an air sign, so it's mental. So we're going to see our minds get even more, I guess you could say your minds get more action. What do I mean by that? Rather than be more out there physical, and this again goes in line with Mars stepping into Taurus and us making us slow down or sit still just a little bit, we're going to go more into our minds. Okay, and this is one thing that I really, I mean, I can't mention it enough. If I've already mentioned it, which I think I have, that I want you to be aware of and not careful, but really take to heart what I'm telling you. The Aquarian energy is amazing, it's humanitarian, it's technology driven, it's progressive, it's innovative, it's the right energy for us right now. However, every energy or every sign has a productive or less, more productive and less productive aspect or polarity, and the less productive polarity is that Aquariuses stay in their mind, and that's where they are, and that's it. What you have to do with this energy is just bring it to the body, okay? So Mercury stepping into Aquarius is going to make you want to just think. That's fine. Use that energy to think, visualize as the visionary that Aquarian, that Aquariuses are, and that an Aquarian era asks you to be. Visualize where you want to be this next, this 2021, where you want your, inner circle to be, where you want your community to be, where you would like this planet to be. Use that energy, use your mind, and don't let your mind use you, okay? Because it can happen when Mercury steps into Aquarius, or when we have a heavy Aquarius energy, that the mind will just go, and you'll just want to stay there, or you just want to dip into technology and scroll and consume social media, for example, and not really maybe get into creating social media or creating content or embodying the learnings that you take away from whatever you're watching or consuming. Okay, so Mercury in Aquarius, great for mental processes. However, don't let your mind own you. You tell your mind what to do. Use it for what you need to use it for. And that would be vision and innovation and progress and whatever your plan is for the next 2 years, basically, because Aquarius is always 2 years ahead. Okay? On the 13th, we'll have the new moon in Capricorn, where it's going to be kind of like, sort of like the die-off of this Capricornian energy. Okay, that would be, you know, a few days before we step into Aquarius season, and so we have the opportunity to just kind of be like, what else from Capricorn season, which is all about like my career and building stuff and status and authority and kind of, you know, money in the sense of what does money bring and do for me, not just necessarily generating money, but like what does money afford me as a social status and that kind of stuff. All of these concepts, you can kind of, for the new moon, I always recommend on new moons and full moons that you do certain exercises, journaling or things like that. I'm not really that big into rituals, but they're useful times because new moons and full moons are portals of energy, which means their energy is accentuated. And it's accentuated in the sense that these portals are more open for us to let go of certain things and for us to welcome other things. So a great exercise for the new moon in Capricorn is kind of like, what do I still have left? And this is on the 13th of January. Check your local times because I'm always talking about Pacific time, California, Los Angeles time, okay? And I post about all this stuff in my Instagram too, and I talk about like the exact time and the exact degree and things, so you might want to follow me there for more info. At Maril Solis Paz. New moons being portals, you can actually be like, okay, what do I really want to die off and what do I want to begin? Okay, what's the next thing that I want to build? If I have still some habits I need to get rid of, what are those? And let me consciously make a decision to let go of those, and let me consciously make a decision to replace them with these habits. Don't leave anything to avoid, okay? Release, delete, and eliminate, and bring something else in. Otherwise, you're going to be going back to that, you know, other habit. We need to replace habits. We need to replace programs. Okay, that's the best way for you to step into new energy. Okay, so that's on the 13th. On the 14th, this whole thing we've been talking about with Uranus and Taurus. Uranus and Taurus, the planet will stop its retrograde period and will go direct again. So it will now be moving at this point on the 14th. Between the 14th and the 30th, when Mercury goes retrograde, we're going to have no retrogrades. Like it feels good because every planet is unrestricted. It's doing what it's supposed to do. It's moving forward. And this goes right along with the energy of Aquarius, which is a forward-thinking sign. Again, it's always 2 years ahead. It's always thinking of the future. It's about progress. It's about innovation. And so we're going to feel a little bit more like good, you know, like I can maybe start to think about what's going to happen next. Okay. However, remember that Uranus in Taurus is not very comfortable because Uranus is the planet that rules Aquarius. Aquarius and Taurus are square to each other. This is an aspect where geometric relationship where these two signs don't get along. There's tension. They don't have a ton in common. The energies are, hey, I'm an air sign. I want to be over here. Hey, I'm an earth sign. I want to be grounded and practical. And that difference generates friction. And that friction is going to feel, even though we can move forward in certain things, it's going to still feel chaotic and a little bit uncomfortable. And that's why, again, resilience. Okay. And again, remember, mind over matter. Okay. And spirit over everything else. So think about that for a little bit. On the 19th, the sun steps into Aquarius. Again, check your local times. The shifts could be the 18th, the 20th, or whatever for you, depending on where you are in the world. But the sun will shift into Aquarius, taking us into Aquarius season. That's the time when we're going to feel a little bit more settled, right? Like as if you're making Jell-O and like the Jell-O is still liquidy and now it's like settled into the shape it's going to be in, into the energy of the age of Aquarius. Okay, and so at that time you will have Mercury in Aquarius, you'll have Saturn in Aquarius, you'll have Jupiter in Aquarius, and Saturn and Jupiter will be in the early degrees. Therefore, they're going to be kind of really close to the sun in Aquarius. And so you're going to have all this concentration of all this energy in the sign of Aquarius. A lot of, again, all Aquarian energy, community focus, right? What's good for the group, progressive, innovative. And by innovative, what do I mean? I hope people understand, and I hope that you understand, that when changes happen or when we generate changes, they don't have to be that you completely drop something and then you have to be forced to completely adopt something new. Yes, Aquarian energy is a before and after, but it can be as simple as a completely new way of doing the job that you're doing. It doesn't have to be I leave my job and I go to another job, okay? Yes, it's movement, and yes, it is sometimes moving from one house to another, from one country to another, but it doesn't necessarily have to be that way for everybody. It depends on your own particular configuration, which is why it's super important to understand how this affects you in your chart, okay? And so all this Aquarian energy is going to be there available for you to make changes and shifts in your life that you want to. If you've been feeling like, that's it, I need to set this boundary, that's it, I need to go and do this thing that's been pending, that's it, you know, I need to change this about myself, this is going to be perfect time for it, because no planet is going to be retrograde. You're going to have all the energy of Aquarius really helping you out with anything that you want to shift and change. So take advantage of it, okay? Take advantage of it. That's why we do these videos, and why we study astrology, and why we study anything else that's energy related, whether it be, you know, Schumann or tarot or whatever, because we want to understand how we can take advantage of the energy that's available to us. It is available to us. Once we know it and understand it, we can decide what to do with it. Okay, so don't say that I didn't tell you. Okay, that's what's available to you. On the 28th, we have the full moon in Leo. Full moon, you always know that it's the sun is in one sign and the moon is in the opposite sign. Therefore, this is opposition, which, you know, it calls for integration, balance, and, you know, many things like complementary type of energy and all this stuff. But it is an opposition, and as an opposition, it is an aspect that generates tension, or it feels uncomfortable a little bit. Full moons are very useful for completing, clarity, results. So if you want to journal about something that you need to really understand in where you are going to be dealing with dynamics that have to do with Leo and Aquarius, which is this: Leo is a leader and really tends to only think about what they want, and Aquarius is sort of the team player that tends to think a little bit more about what the group needs. So what is the balance between these two? Okay, that's sort of your sweet spot for journaling in the full moon in Leo on the 28th. Then on the 30th, we have Mercury in Aquarius going retrograde. So then we'll have our first retrograde. Remember, Mercury only goes retrograde for a short period of time. So later in February, it's going to go direct again. And for the remaining, like February, March, and April, part of April, we're going to have, again, no retrogrades. So get ready, because we're going to have plenty of energy available to us for doing stuff, for, you know, making changes that we want to make, not just waiting for them to happen to us and surprise us, okay? However, again, my Aquariuses, my Tauruses, my Leos, and my Scorpios, you're going to feel this month of January some uncomfortable energy, because once the moon is in Scorpio or in Leo, it's going to make configurations of what we call T-squares. So it's going to be, you know, this Taurus energy that we have here with Mars and Uranus, and this Aquarian energy that, you know, Mercury is going to get into, the sun's going to get into, and Saturn and Jupiter already into. Those are squared to each other, okay? When we have like a Leo or a Scorpio, they're going to complete this T configuration. So there's going to be a square over here and a square over here, and two planets opposing each other. That makes this T, okay? And when that happens for 2 or so days, these signs in particular that I just mentioned, the Aquarians, the Leos, the Scorpios, and the Tauruses, are gonna feel like an extra dose of chaos and uncomfortable and what is happening, and I'm angry, and like I can't deal with this and whatever. Don't worry. I'll be talking about those for more in my Instagram, because those are, you know, sort of moon guided smaller transits. But remember, anything that's triggered by the moon only lasts a couple days. This too shall pass. So not a big deal. Just warning you that you may be a little bit triggered, and you may have to deal with some very uncomfortable energy. But remember, okay, this is actually really, really important to remember. We talk about this a lot when I do my astro coaching sessions for birth chart readings. The opposition and square, right? These uncomfortable, hey, these elements don't get along type of relationships, what we call aspects in astrology, they push you to do certain things. It's like, no, mom, I don't want to shower. Okay, kid, you got to shower. I'm going to push you to do it. That kind of thing. It's good for you. Okay? So keep that in mind when you are going to be feeling this. And, you know, if you see in my Instagram that it's like, hey, moon in Leo, or hey, the moon is in Scorpio, and we have these, T-squares, and, these 4 signs are going to be feeling it the most. Everyone's going to feel it to some degree, but these are going to be taking sort of the brunt of the thing. And understand, 1, that it's temporary, and 2, that it is something where everything is how we look at it. Everything is how we look at it, right? And what we choose to do with it. So it's like, okay, I feel uncomfortable, but it's that kind of uncomfortable where I don't feel like going to the gym, and I'm going to push myself to go to the gym. Yes, there's go with the flow, and then there's listen, you must, because this is the right thing for you to do, and you don't feel like it right now because the energies are like, but go. You're going to feel so much better later. You accomplished something, you did something, and it's like an in spite of, okay? That's where your resilience practices are really going to come in handy. So start practicing now, or start researching now. What's going to be your resilience practice for 2021, okay? There you have it. So please, in the comments, if you got through this whole video, you know already what the deal is for January 2021. I want you to tell me what you want to see more of here in this channel. Hey, Meryl, tell us more about like what is my, what does sun sign in Aquarius mean? Or what does it mean when you have, the sun in the 10th house, or whatever it may be. Tell us more about transits. What in the world is an aspect? I have no idea what that is. And, what's a square? What's a this? Let me know what you want to see. And also please follow me on Instagram, because there I will do a little bit more in between the week and explain certain things, especially in my stories, having lots of fun there. Maybe not right now during holiday season. I was taking a little bit of a break, but I usually do, and do some tutorials there too, where I'm like, okay, if this falls in this house, it's like this, it's like that. Okay. So many blessings for you and yours for 2021, a year of further change, the year of resilience. So please, please, please get active as to what your practice is going to be for this, what tools you're going to have in order to be ahead of the game and generate the changes instead of waiting for a change to surprise you. Okay, don't let that be you. And if by some chance it just so happens that that is you, have the tools already to bounce back. Okay, and to see the changes and shifts for the up leveling and growth that they truly, truly are. Many blessings, and I'll see you on the next video.